Protein is bad for your kidneys. Protein is not bad at all.
Hi and welcome to the first episode of PMX Debunks. Today we have India's top longevity experts, Dr. Samatha Tulla
Drinking water from a copper vessel can cure all ailments and increase longevity. Yes?
and Dr. Abhishek Suresh. Together, they will be debunking the most common myths around health, aging, and longevity using real science and practical insights.
Let's debunk some of the most common myths around health. So let's start with the first one.
Let's go. Protein is bad for your kidneys. This is very, very commonly said out there, right? That taking protein is associated with building muscle and it's only for gym goers or athletes, but often not the case. Protein is a vital element, it's the bare minimum necessity that the body requires in order to carry out the physiological status and maintain homeostasis.
So, what do you think? Protein is bad for your kidneys? Is it for everyone or for subset of people?
Protein is not bad at all, for especially for people who have normal functioning kidneys. If somebody has to have any restriction on the protein, then it should come from the doctor. They will have discrepancy in terms of the rate at which the kidneys are filtering blood, and they will have something called as creatinine to be on the higher side for the long time. But that's about it. If you are not having any of this, you are safe to consume good amount of protein. Somewhere between 0.8 to 1 gram per kg of your body weight is a good number to consider in terms of protein requirement.
Let's move to the second one.
Let's go.
Okay. What is it? Drinking water from a copper vessel can cure all ailments and increase longevity. First of all, drinking water is very, very crucial. Most of the clients we see are often dehydrated. If you're drinking water from any kind of vessel, that is the top priority, drink them. Coming to choice of vessel or choosing a metal from which you're drinking, yes, copper vessels are good to use compared to other kind of aluminium containers or plastic containers, but it's good to use copper vessel or even a stainless steel vessel to consume water. But more than that, drinking enough water is important.
What do you think about copper vessel?
Drinking water from a copper vessel cure all ailments. If it has to cure all ailments, then all of us
All the
should
hospitals
just
can shut
be
down.
start
shut down.
drinking water from copper vessel and not take
Yeah.
any medicine at all.
Yeah.
No, it is not true that drinking water just from a copper vessel and keeping all ailments away is a myth. It cannot cure all ailments.
Joint pain and chronic ailments are inevitable with aging. It's a limitation that we are like bounding ourselves with. I wouldn't say it is true for all. If somebody is born with some deformity by birth, then it might be the case. But 99% of us can get away with any of these joint pains or chronic ailments. It is almost always said out there that I have become 60, hence I have got diabetes. It has become a common denominator. Having
So
osteoarthritis.
you're saying aging is a common denominator, so not everybody who is aging can develop joint disease?
Yeah, if you have been taking care of your health, let's say starting from your 20s or even before that, the rate at which you fall for any of these aging related repercussions goes down drastically, right?
So you're saying if you can invest in yourself in your 20s and 30s, we can keep all these age-related ailments far away from us.
As long
far
as
away as
possible.
possible.
So yes, joint pain and chronic ailments are not inevitable with aging.
What's the next one? Salt is the only thing that affects blood pressure. This has been a common myth that consuming more salt leads to hypertension. That is not always true. Hypertension is not always because of the salt. There's something called salt sensitive hypertension. There can be other forms of hypertension because of other organ problems. So salt is not the culprit. If you're thinking you will get away with salt and you don't need blood pressure medications, then it's a mistake.
Detox juices are the best way to cleanse your body. There's nothing called as detox juice. Your body has got a robust system, including the liver and the kidney and skin, if you consider that as an organ as well, to take care of all of these detox pathways. If you have these organs taken care of in a proper manner, especially the liver, then the detoxing is happening at the rate at which it should happen. If that's not the case, taking an ashgard juice or taking water with turmeric and pepper starting in the morning is not going to solve for.
This is the most common myth we often see on social media, right?
Yeah.
Start your day with turmeric water, lemon water, and it will detox your body throughout the day, no matter what you eat and drink.
Yeah, it is selling because people are saying that it's because it's getting sold very easily. But detox juices does sell in other things, but detoxing itself.
Fasting with fruits is the healthiest detox. First of all, there's nothing like fasting with fruits. If you're fasting, you wouldn't consider a fruit. Fruit has fiber, fruit has sugars. If you're eating sugar and fiber, then you're not fasting at all.
We most commonly hear this from our clients that I am fasting, but I am eating only fruits and milk. I'm drinking milk and I'm eating fruits. They feel that it is pure and is like available naturally, because of which it comes with the package of fasting.
Fruits are good. Fruits are good for health, but it doesn't mean eating fruits all the time and expecting that it is the healthiest detox. First of all, you're not detoxing, and you're neither fasting nor detoxing. Correct. While eating fruits.
Fruits spike glucose levels, and fruits also spike insulin, and that defies the purpose of you fasting. If you're fasting, you need your glucose and insulin at the basal rate, and if you have a fruit or drink a glass of milk, then it means that you're breaking your fast. Malt-based health drinks are essential for child growth. How many new age mothers out there?
I often hear it from other parents and mothers too. If you want to support your child's health, give them home cooked, balanced meals, or having a good balanced plate is very important. It doesn't mean you have to give an energy drink or something mixed into their milk. I often see this is the most common, shortest way possible for a mother to nourish the child. Yeah. But as long as you're giving home cooked balanced meals, you need not concentrate on giving malt or adding any other supportive products to your milk products or even the juices.
And the claims that these people are making, the companies behind these malt drinks, are huge, right?
So basically, if somebody is saying, give this drink to your child and your child will grow according to their age.
Yeah, the stronger, smarter, taller.
Smarter and taller, then please don't buy the product. They're just selling the product. So please don't get sold. Just give them home cooked, very balanced meals. That is more than enough for your child's growth.
And the proportion at which, let's say, people claim that they have DHA and EPA, omega-3 fatty acids basically, in their malt drinks, and that is what is making the child's growth and development accelerated as such. But the proportion at which it is present compared to the amount of sugar or refined flour that is there is drastic. The amount of refined items and sugar that is there in a malt drink supersedes the omega concentration. So you're buying onto this omega proportion company as such, but what you're buying is sugar and refined flour.
Digestive biscuits are high in fiber. First of all, when somebody is making a biscuit in the factory, that means they're stripping away all the fiber from the food or the grain to make that flour. So first of all, a biscuit is devoid of all the fiber. If you have to make a biscuit with the fiber again, it is easy for you to consume a home cooked meal which has fiber within itself. There's nothing like digestive biscuit. There's nothing like biscuit with a fiber. Any biscuits that you see in the supermarkets are only made after stripped off of all the fiber. Number one, it is only making you more addictive, so you can eat more biscuits, and eventually it will impact your gut health, it will impact your insulin levels, it will spike your sugars, etc. So I think there's nothing like digestive biscuit. There's nothing like adding fiber after stripping away fiber in the factory.
Brown bread is healthier than white bread. Brown bread, what is it made of usually? Brown bread?
It's made with
more of wheat,
whole wheat,
less of refined wheat.
It is I think brown wheat flour is little less refined compared to white bread flour, which is ultra refined.
So it's still eating crap, but less crappy. That's what it is.
Yes. If you compare GI index of white bread to brown bread, I think brown bread has little lower glycemic index.
So the statement is
on
true.
The higher side.
Brown bread is healthier than white bread, but it's a relative statement.
Relative.
Right? So you're not becoming healthy by eating brown bread, but you're making a relatively better choice by skipping on the white bread.
But if you're trying to get away from all the gluten, then you have to get away both from brown and white breads.
In which case, sourdough or gluten-free breads
Are ideal choice.
yeah, ideal choices. People often think that sugar, jaggery, palm sugars, all of these are very different. But at the end of the day, it's a decision that you're making. Do you want to get cut by a blade or do you want to get cut by a sickle? Blood is blood at the end of the day. Drinking alcohol before bedtime ensures better sleep quality. Ooh.
First of all, alcohol is disturbing your sleep, number one. It is not allowing you to fall asleep. In fact, it is stressing your liver. Actually, you're working more. Your body is working more by drinking alcohol at night. In fact, our body should be working as less up as possible so that we can get into deeper sleep. So if you're eating a meal very closer to bedtime or even drinking alcohol before you sleep means that you're not going to get into deep sleep anytime sooner because the liver has to detoxify. It will take more than 6 hours of time. And by that time, you're already awake, thinking that you already slept. So it is not going to put you into deeper sleep. It is only going to disturb your sleep architecture.
You're getting into good sleep and you wake up with the aftermath of it.
Yes.
All the electrolyte disturbances and everything makes you seek out buttermilk and whatnot to tackle the headache that comes in the morning.
And also people get to these hangover drinks.
Yeah.
Just by
hangover drinks and hangover drips. Drinking alcohol before bedtime doesn't ensure good quality of sleep.
What's next? Okay. Moderate alcohol consumption is good for the heart. You open any study, any data, any people who have lived longer, most of them were doing things in moderation. In that point of view, this sentence makes sense. When you're doing most things right, maybe moderate alcohol will cut down all the risks. But that doesn't mean alcohol makes you healthy. In any sense, any ounce of alcohol or in any form is not good for your health at all. But if you're making a choice, relative choice as to out of so many options that are available, if there is something you can choose, then that would be red wine. But that doesn't mean your heart is becoming healthy because you're not going to get enough resveratrol from one glass of red wine.
Yeah. People in the Greek village where one of the blue zones were identified and they add red wine, like Dr. Sam just mentioned. People usually think this, right? Red wine, I consume red wine for living longer, but they miss out on community. They miss out on walking in an uphill direction. They miss out on clocking about 80 grams of protein and 30 grams of fiber. Just drink red wine for the resveratrol that is there in it and live longer.
So basically, any amount of alcohol is not good for your health. But if you're doing most things right, and if you're consuming alcohol in moderation, that would cut out all the negative stuff that is happening in the body.
A glass of wine every day is necessary for longevity. So, any of these suggestions, none of these suggestions work in silos, right? If you hear the whole essay and then say that this sentence I like very much, and then I'll take that sentence alone, it's not going to work. The same applies for this, I think.
There's no pill in the world alone. There's no single exercise alone. There's no single food item alone. And there's no drink alone that can give or make you live longer.
Yes.
We have to do most of the things right on most days of the week, on most months of the year, and you should continue to do that to live healthy.
A glass of wine is not the elixir.
Yes. Okay, what is this? Diet Coke or Coke Zero are healthy alternatives. Healthy alternative for any kind of drink is water. If you want it more healthier, infuse your water with any kind of vegetables or fruits. But again, don't add juice to the water. That will cut out all the positive benefits that you're getting. But healthy alternative is a water alone and not any kind of Diet Cokes or Coke which says zero sugar or even energy giving drinks. None of them are healthier. So
what about people who are drinking 10 tins of Coke or 3 tins of Monster or Red Bull or any other energy drink out there? If from their POV, is this a relatively better choice?
Once in a while, that should be okay. But if you're trying to depend on these Cokes, Diet Cokes every day, then that is a bad choice to make. But if you're choosing it once a week or once in 2 weeks as a part of your social connections or part of your social meetings, then sometimes it's okay.
If you
have an optimal BMI, you're healthy.
Ooh.
Oh God.
We recently did an analysis, right?
Yes, we recently had this analysis. 50% of the times, people who had normal BMI had higher fat percentage. That means their body composition is not ideal, though their weighing scales show that their weight is normal, which is appropriate to their height, which is appropriate to their age. But this is
They also had
not true
insulin
at all.
resistance.
And most of these individuals, 80% of the people who had normal BMI, who walked into PMX office, have been walking with insulin resistance around. If you have insulin resistance, that means your body is not driving energy from any of the foods that you're eating. But in fact, whatever you're eating, you're gaining extra body fat and your lean mass is on the lower side, which is not good for your cardiovascular health or metabolic health or even liver health. That is why most people who look thin or even look normal have higher body fat percentage and are at very high risk for heart diseases and metabolic associated fatty liver disease and cholesterol issues, etc. So this is a very common myth that having normal BMI means they're healthy, because most of our Indian population are having a phenotype called TOFI, which is thin outside and fat inside. That is what we're talking about. If you have normal BMI, then there are 3 things that you should get tested. One, get your body composition analysis done. Look for your body fat percentage, look for your visceral adipose tissue. Second thing, get your fasting insulin levels checked, look for your home IR to rule out home insulin resistance. Third thing, get your arterial health checked because you're at high risk for cardiovascular diseases.
Should always start your day with fruits.
This is very interesting. Like, I think 80% of the times we hear, even at office and outside, that most of the people start their day with fruit. What do you have to say about it?
Maybe fruits are high on fructose, and it's not a wise decision to start your day with something that is high on fructose, because fructose as a fuel for the body is only taken care at the liver level.
Yes.
And to start the day with something that taxes the liver like fructose is not the ideal option. Plus, if you have been challenged with high uric acid problem or already diagnosed with metabolic syndrome like prediabetes, diabetes, hypertension, obesity, or any of the related complications, fruits is not the best option to start the day with.
Can they end the day with fruit?
Same applies. You can't start a day with the high insulin and glucose spike, and you can't end the day with high insulin and glucose spike. Best time to have fruits would be to follow it up with a meal that is rich in fiber, fat, healthy fat and protein, and complex carbohydrate.
Or when your workout is planned around that time. I think that is the best time.
Reaching the end of it.
Drinking tea will make your skin darker or even tanner. I don't think so. Do I look tan? I drink green tea or black tea almost every day since last 10 years. Of course, I don't drink it with milk. That's a different story. And no sugar with the tea. But no, drinking tea will not make your skin darker. Of course, it's a different story when somebody is having Irani chai every day with a lot of milk and sugar. It's a different story. It is not healthier. It will make you more inflamed, because I hear many people drinking tea about 5 to 7 times a day and keep sipping on it, which is not good because it has sugar all the time, milk all the time, but tea portion of it is not going to make your skin darker.
I'm not sure why this association with pigmentation and depigmentation and tea as such. People also say that if I've been drinking tea because of which my hair has gotten grayer. I think it's because of what you just mentioned. They've been drinking tea with milk and sugar multiple times, and that messes up with methylation and everything. That provokes this early premature graying of hair, and people without proper awareness, they link it with the tea itself.
Or sometimes they even get confused with darkening of the skin, especially around the neck, which is acanthosis nigricans.
True that.
That can happen even without drinking tea, right? If people have insulin resistance, that would show up.
What do we have next? Strength training will make women bulky and unfeminine.
Is it true?
As a man,
no,
it is not. As a woman,
I think everybody should see this if you have not seen this before. Because I keep hearing this myth all the time. I think you too. Strength training will make women bulky and unfeminine. Firstly, we cannot become bulky because no matter how much heavier you strength train, your testosterone is not going to spike up and look like them. That is not going to happen. Number two, nobody is going to take femininity away from a
Yeah.
woman, and I don't think strength training will make them any less feminine. It's
If
not
at
going
all strength training has to do anything, it is going to make you more stronger, mobile, flexible, and more attractive than
and
ever.
more leaner,
Yeah.
and it can help you balance your hormones. If in case you have hormonal imbalances, then that is the best form of exercise all the women can choose.
Exercising on an empty stomach helps you lose weight faster.
How? I want to know. Because if this was happening, all of us would prescribe, if you want to lose weight, please
Yeah.
exercise on your empty stomach. Nobody does that, and nobody would recommend it.
I feel
I think this sentence is more spoken about in the context of calories in and calories out concept. So I think
I feel if people get to understand their body by doing routine assessment of what we just spoke about, understanding their metabolic health through HbA1c, fasting insulin, fasting blood glucose, vital organ functions, and understand whether they are metabolically obese or not. And then comes the aesthetic part of it. Am I looking for the shape that I'm aspiring to be, or am I not? Then find out the gradient at which you want to go and set a target and then reach the target weight. So if that is the case, you can plan your meals, macro intake accordingly, and achieve this weight loss and not push yourself 5 a.m. in the morning on an empty stomach with intense cardio and feel very very fatigued the rest of the day. You will have to have some amount of carbohydrate pool remaining in the circulation in order to make your workouts effective. Either as a pre-workout or a post-workout, you will need carbohydrates. And if you're working out on an empty stomach and it works for you, it works for you. I like to work out after about an hour of eating something that is rich in simple carbohydrate.
And to add to it, there are people who work out in the mornings and evenings. People who work out in the evenings already had some form of meal, right? So they are fueled enough to perform any kind of moderate to high intensity workout. If you're choosing to do a low intensity workout in the mornings and if you're doing it on fasting, that is still fine.
Yeah.
But if you choose to do any moderate or high intensity workout, then you should have enough fuel, enough glucose in the circulation. Then that is the reason that why you should have a light meal, either a easily digestible carbohydrate or a fruit or a nut before your workouts. That's the choice that we have to make. Most of them have caffeine as pre-workout that will fuel them enough. Most of them have oils or nuts or even fruits. I think that is enough to fuel them to push themselves towards more intense workouts.
To keep enough glucose in the circulation and to convert some of them into glycogen and feed your muscle for all the contractions. Spot reduction of fat is possible.
But why do you want to, I want to ask this question. Why do you want to reduce fat only in certain spots? When somebody has excess body fat, then you have to reduce the risk of a disease. We have to reduce fat throughout the body, right?
But many people seek vanity. I feel that is the reason why spot reduction is the topic. I would want to look better with my clothes. They will have their own metrics, but this is purely vanity and nothing else. And spot reduction of fat is not possible unless you are ready to give up on your fat reserve, the real estate as such. Then you have options like liposuction, cryo, and all of that, which can make you metabolically less healthy at the cost of looking better.
I think we may have to talk a little bit about what subcutaneous fat and visceral fat is about. If you are not working on your visceral fat and working on spot reductions for subcutaneous fat for aesthetical reasons and for the choice that individual makes, it works for them.
It works for them.
But ultimately, if you have to work on your metabolism, then you have to work on the visceral fat as well.
And that comes with eating right, moving more, and strength training.
Creatine causes hair fall.
I think there was this one study which was done with South African athletes that in that subject population, people had hair fall after intense training for some event as such. In that period, they also had creatine. And that study created this common talk around the athletic group and even the normal population that creatine is one of the root causes for hair fall when you are on supplementation. And I feel it has been debunked a lot of times, and there is no direct correlation that has been associated with creatine and hair falls till date.
I think creatine is the most studied supplement,
Yeah,
right? I
it
think
is.
there are more studies for creatine than for any other supplement. None of those studies now in the recent times show that it can
Cause
cause
hair
hair
fall.
fall. So no, creatine doesn't cause hair
Hair
fall.
Down to the last
Exercise
one.
causes hair fall. I often hear this. I'm doing intense exercise. I wash my hair at least twice a day, and that is causing hair loss. No, people always try to correlate only two things, but forget a lot of things. Most of the people who are on calorie restriction and also exercising may notice hair fall temporarily because the body is not getting enough calories. That the body
The
requires, right?
body doesn't treat air as the vital organ or a entity for which it has to supply the fuel that you are feeding, which is already limited because you are on a goal to achieve something, and let's say weight loss as such, and that comes with calorie restriction, and you are stressing out. Exercise is a stressor, but it's a good kind of stressor. The body doesn't know that. You are
Yes.
undernourishing yourself, and you are also putting a stress. It causes many of these hair follicles to move into a phase called telogen.
That is how they have telogen
effluvium,
effluvium, which is a very temporary stage, and people should understand that that is reversible and they can come out of this situation after the stressor is gone or after you refuel the body.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why people shouldn't do yo-yo diets, which mean you're not concentrating on the muscle preservation, on your protein intake, and forgetting covering all micronutrients. That is when they do these crash diets without any support, they go through this stage more often.
Yeah.
But not all hair falls are a bad thing.
Because they are also cutting down on the micronutrients.
Yes.
This crash diet, right?
Exercising, especially lifting weights before 18, will stunt your height growth.
It increases. If at all it is doing anything to your height, it will definitely increase because you have growth plates at the end of your bones while you're growing, and it prevails until about you are 24 and 25. And many of these muscles and tendons are having attachments in the growth plate as such. When you are exercising and when you push resistance against your muscles, the muscles tends to rub onto this growth plates, which is epiphyseal plates, and
Yes.
that provokes the bone to be more denser and longer and stronger, which means that exercising, lifting weights, indulging in sporting activities, indulging in activities that helps you jump and express your explosive strength will make you taller and not the other way around.
Yes. If you have to do one swap with malt drinks,
Yeah.
then that is exercising or strength training for your kids for promoting their body and bones to grow more longer and stronger. If you have any other questions around health and you think we need to debunk them, then please post in the comments below.
Happy to help.
Yes. We are trying to simplify very complex longevity science into bite-sized information. If you think this information is useful for you and for your family members, and if you think this life-saving preventive hacks can help people out there, please share these videos. And we are trying to do this every week. So please do like, share, and subscribe.